Before getting into the current situation, I want to state that I have never been paid by any of the subjects in my videos, nor will I ever be. I have made some mistakes, but I do want to make it clear that I understand its importance. Right now, there's a video getting a lot of views talking about a situation that I was involved in, and so let's discuss it. A couple years ago, Coffeezilla made a video on a kid named Noor Trades. I think this was 2021, and I went out and hung out with him. And a video was released on his channel of us hanging out and me not exposing him and not being confrontational as I probably should have. And so it's a horrible look because I think a lot of people interpreted that as me promoting him. I very much appreciate Coffeezilla's video. It was a chance to see some constructive feedback. I mean, obviously 800,000 views is tough that you get the feedback in such a public manner. However, he was right in everything he said. And it's a chance for me to improve my content, and I actually really appreciate. And so a couple of the criticisms that he had was unprepared, like a lack of preparation, and that I didn't do any type of like pushback on the subject, that the interview styles, these in-person interviews are not my thing, and that they're just not a good video type for my channel. Filming in public is really, really hard, especially when you're face-to-face with the subjects. For the longest time, most of my videos have been in studio, and so that's a skill set that I've built up. I don't really have the skill set built up for in person. It is something that I think would be important, and it is something that I'd love to gain the skill on. However, I don't have that skill today. I have a new respect for journalists and reporters that can go in person and ask confrontational questions because it is a skill set that you need to build up, and one that I do not have today. Going into the interview, I had what I thought were tough questions to ask. However, that was not the case. I thought I asked some tough questions up front. However, I didn't push back that well. And throughout the interview or throughout the day, I think those questions got less confrontational, or certainly not as much pushback as I should have provided. And that was unacceptable. This video was filmed in July 2023, 8 months ago. I was in a much different place. My channel, I felt like, was getting stale. And so I was ready to try something new. Something I've had to do as a creator a lot. Back in 2020, I was making videos on favorite musicians going broke, why your favorite athletes go broke, record label contracts. I was making a broad diversity of videos, and then I did fake gurus and lawsuits and fraud stories. And as a creator, you have to do that over time in order to stay relevant, or in order to make your content feel fresh, and in some cases, grow as a creator. Coffeezilla's critique is really accurate, and I actually decided to not film these videos anymore. Again, this was a video filmed 8 months ago, and right away I could tell that I wasn't really good at this. I had only done a couple and the audience didn't really care, and I just didn't think it was the right video to make. And so therefore, pretty quickly I decided to not make those videos. Now here we are 8 months later, and this whole thing is bubbling up. So I'm in a little different position, but I totally agree with what he said. I think his critiques were accurate, and I think it further solidifies my decision to not make that type of content anymore. My initial intentions were to show up and have an interesting conversation that I thought would have hard-hitting questions. Now, I certainly didn't fulfill that promise. However, I showed up in hopes to get a really interesting video with someone who had an exposed video made about them. I was interested just to hang out with the kid, see if he was legitimate, and just report on what I saw. So I showed up on the day of the filming, and the whole time I was communicating with his manager, I think the guy who handles his Discord. And so Noor actually didn't know who I was when I showed up. Maybe he wasn't prompted on what was going to happen that day, but I showed up and just started filming. Admittedly, I wasn't as prepared as I should have been for questions. However, I just kind of wanted to film the day, ask him some questions, and see what he was about. That day, he had a lot of students in town. These were apparently randomly selected students. He'd been doing that all month in Miami. And I brought a buddy with me, a buddy who is a lot savvier than I am and has a lot better filter for BS and seeing things that, I mean, I have blind spots, I'll admit. He sees through those blind spots. And so I was confident bringing him, that between both of us, maybe we could catch, if anything, if we were fooled in person or anything, he would be kind of a backup for me. And we chatted with a lot of the students. Students gave us their experience, which was multiple years of success as a trader. Now, these were not millionaires. These were people making, I don't want to give you a specific number, maybe like $50 a day, $100 a day. Maybe someone was averaging $500 a day. Whatever it was a decent amount. It was enough for them to leave the previous job that they were at. They had success with trading. They learned a lot from Noor. And I saw Noor live trade. I saw him actually trading. I saw the Discord light up. My buddy was there watching when I was kind of filming here and there. He was there analyzing what was going on. And so we saw a lot of live trading. We saw accounts. We saw People claim their experience was really good. We saw a lot of people in the Discord who were showing up every day. And so we interpreted it as he was legitimate. One thing that I realized was a major flaw with what I was doing is I probably should have brought an expert with me. I think that would have been the most appropriate and most professional way to handle a video of this type, and something that I will look forward to doing in the future. I think that is the best way to handle this because I am certainly not an expert in everything. Day trading is something I know very little about. And so I think it was probably a little unprofessional of me to not show up and at least have someone there to have a better eye on what was going on, because I think that the essence of this video is the kid a legit day trader or not? And if I'm not the right person to evaluate that, then that's probably not the best video to make. Because I was unprepared, I seemed to really drop the ball on something that I think is important, which is there are accusations that he was copying or stealing trading signals. From my point of view, we watched him live trade, and so I thought that mitigated that. However, I should have been much better prepared to ask hard-hitting questions in regards to the copying or stealing trade signals, because if that's the case, then here is a huge expose story. I had an initial question for the website and funnels. However, I did not have good follow-up questions, and I think I look pretty bad. When he claimed that the website wasn't his or something, I clearly did not have a good follow-up, and I think you see that, or as I look confused and I didn't know what was going on. So my lack of preparedness meant that I did not have a good follow-up question to that accusation that I think is important as well. I think most importantly, and where I dropped the ball the worst, is just pressing someone for more evidence. This is something that is clearly a flaw of mine and something that I can improve on if I choose to ever do a video of similar magnitude like this again. I admittedly am not that comfortable with discomfort, especially face-to-face, and this is one of the challenges with going and doing face-to-face, and something that I look forward to. I love challenges because that's some way to grow, and I think with every challenge, there's anything that's hard, there's massive opportunity. Unfortunately, I massively dropped the ball here. I should have pressed him more for evidence, and this goes back to, I know which video you're referring to when I only saw one statement on the phone. There's a video that has 1 million views. I know some of you watched, and that's something that I massively lacked, and that is a major, major, major fail on my behalf. Pressing for more documents, pressing for more statements, and this goes back to having an expert there with you. An expert would be able to validate any type of statements provided if they were photoshopped or faked or falsified or in any manner, something that I might not even have an eye for. And so that is probably the worst dropping the ball moment of all this. Why I didn't release the video. Upon my return to Las Vegas, I shared with some of my creator friends the situation, and I mentioned that there was an LA mansion that he claimed to own on social media, which to this day I still don't believe he owns. I did press him in person for it. He did claim he had a deed available for me, and I trusted that he would share it with me. Now, he hasn't shared it with me to this day. I still don't believe he owns the house, and what made me really uncomfortable is if someone is willing to lie to my face about owning a property. He's a day trader, and so owning real estate to me is kind of irrelevant. And so someone claiming to own real estate that they don't own, that was a red flag, something that made me nervous. I had not felt really any differently about him. However, it was something that made me nervous enough and not 100% conclusive that I should release the video. After talking to my friends, we all agreed that it was probably best to not release the video. That was a big reason though. That little thing had me really concerned. And so I decided to not release the video, hence why we filmed in July. I held the footage for a long time and decided ultimately not to release it on my channel. I don't promote day trading, and I certainly don't endorse Nora Trades. The intentions of the video were not meant to endorse him in any way or to serve as an advertisement or to leverage my credibility to sell to my audience in any way. I know from the viewer's perspective, that's how it appeared. And so that's certainly on my behalf. I should have done a much better job of thinking this all the way through to when the video gets released. I'm staying out of this from here on. I think this is a battle between Coffeezilla and Nora Trades. I think Coffeezilla is continuing to investigate him. However, I will no longer be involved. I have seen that Nora Trades on his channel did offer a challenge to Coffeezilla to continue investigating and will offer him a significant sum of money if he's able to find any fraud. I'm really excited to see how Coffeezilla continues to investigate and to see if he finds anything, because this is another chance for me to learn. I think he's outstanding at investigation, and it's something that I can obviously improve on. And so I'm excited to see what happens next. At the end of the day, I'm incredibly privileged to be a YouTuber. I'm aware of my privileged position. Unfortunately, these last 2 days are a headache, and it's never fun to feel like you have a lot of people who don't like you and leaving negative comments online. I'm logging into my channel, and we've got a lot of positive comments, but then of course there's some very ugly comments towards me. So these days are never fun. However, it comes with the territory. This is an an opportunity for me to improve as a content creator, which has me excited because I can see this channel lasting a long time. And so this is a minor speed bump. And I think moving forward, if I can continue getting better, then I think the only trending direction is up. Despite the negativity, I do think that my audience is really intelligent, skeptics, but most importantly, you guys hold me to a very high standard, as you should. I think at the end of the day, if I'm continuing to grow as a content creator, that means more stories that can get out there, more eyeballs and audience and attention on scams and frauds and victims so that they can get retribution for the wrongs that were made against them. And so I thank you again for pushing me and making me a better content creator. Thank you for watching this until the end and letting me tell my side of the story. I'm aware that some of you are probably still going to be upset and write about how you unsubscribed, and that's okay. There's a lot of amazing content creators on YouTube that I'm sure you can find. This is certainly not my first mistake. I am human, but it has given me an opportunity to reevaluate and really think about what I'm good at and not good at and how I can improve. Coffeezilla is an amazing creator. He provided, I think, really great criticism that was not just warranted, but also correct. I think he was right about everything. So thank you so much for watching.